3 ways Manchester United could line up vs Coventry City in FA Cup semi-final fixture. Man United play Coventry in the semi-finals of the FA Cup today, and here's how our writers think they should start. Manchester United can progress to the final of the FA Cup with a win against Coventry City this weekend. United take on Championship side Coventry at Wembley on Sunday afternoon and must deliver an improved performance on their showing against Bournemouth last weekend. Although the points were shared against Bournemouth in a 2-2 draw, Andoni Iraola's side took the lead twice on the south coast and created more chances to score. United fell short in the final of the FA Cup against Manchester City last season, and this season's competition is an opportunity to right the wrongs of the defeat in the derby. Regarding the team news, Scott McTominay and Antony are set to be available again, and Harry Maguire should feature, despite picking up a small injury against Bournemouth. However, yesterday, Willy Kambwala, Sofiane Amrabat and Mason Mount were absent when United boarded their train to London at Stockport Station, and rookie defender Louis Jackson was added to the squad. Samuel Luckhurst. The prospect of United playing the same side for the third match running when they were as bad as they were against Liverpool and Bournemouth would be intolerable. Ten Hag seemed to have little choice but to continue with the same back four and Casemiro in midfield until the latest injury scare, but the same attack is inadvisable. Chelsea was not the turning point for Antony. He was not fit enough to start 3 days later against Liverpool and was absent at Bournemouth. But he has a modicum of momentum and is talking a good game, so it is time to play another good game. Ten Hag has drawn a line under the Alejandro Garnacho situation and clarified all parties have moved on. Enough time has passed for him to start. Stephen Railston. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, and although starting Casemiro in midfield would not quite be considered insanity, it would be questionable because he's been a passenger in the center of the pitch for most of the season. I've not included Casemiro in my midfield over the last few weeks due to his awful performances, but if he must play, then I'd take the option of playing him at centre-back. Willy Kambwala did brilliantly against Liverpool but was tested against Bournemouth, and perhaps starting Casemiro alongside Harry Maguire would be a better option regardless of Kambwala's availability. That means Mason Mount, if fit, could start his first game since his return from injury, and now the dust has settled on his social media activity, I'd also start Garnacho. George Smith. Following the standard of the performance United served up at Bournemouth, most supporters would probably love Ten Hag to ring the changes this weekend. However, he simply hasn't got the depth available to do so, meaning changes could be minimal. The back four should, as a result of the ongoing injury crisis in the defensive department, remain unchanged, with Kambwala, if available, partnering Maguire at centre-back. The latter is expected to be fit after soldering his way through the draw with Bournemouth. In midfield, Casemiro does not deserve to retain his place, opening the door for Mount or Eriksen to come into the side depending on availability. Mainoo could occupy a slightly deeper role, allowing Mount, if fit, to play closer to Bruno Fernandes. As for the attack, Ten Hag should demonstrate the United manager cannot be undermined by any member of his squad and name Garnacho on the bench, ending his run of 30 consecutive starts. Antony is worthy of a place in attack after a bright cameo against Liverpool a fortnight ago. Ten Hag conceded analysis of performances must be pragmatic due to the number of players unavailable but refused to give excuses for the disappointing results outright. However, the injury crisis has not relented and results have continued to be hit and miss, which has led to a gradual, yet noticeable, change in the manager's stance. United are 13 points adrift of the Champions League qualification places, and potentially winning the FA Cup is the only glimmer of light remaining this season. There is no doubt about it, Ten Hag is fighting for his future at Old Trafford, and many believe performances since Sir Jim Ratcliffe's acquisition of a minority stake haven't been good enough to persuade the British billionaire that he's the right manager for next season. Although the unfortunate hand Ten Hag has been dealt with injuries must be considered when deciding on his future, the bottom line is United should be playing better. It's fascinating Ten Hag has gone from refusing to blame injuries in the first half of the season, to going out of his way to discuss them in recent press conferences. The pressure has increased another notch. Ten Hag holds office at the most scrutinized club in the world and has, understandably, been affected by the noise around his job. When Ten Hag was asked about outside opinions in the embargoed section of his pre-Coventry press conference, he became animated and pointed to injuries again. No, I don't have any concern about what is said on the outside. What concerns me is that in 18 months I have never had my favorite team on the pitch, said Ten Hag. That concerns me. Because the players are injured. One time, I could pick my strongest 11, was against City last season in the home game. That was the only time where we had a full squad, where I can pick my team, and in all the other games there was always an injury aspect where we have to deal with. That is normal in football, but not so many as we have had. And I know when we have so many injuries as we have had, and on crucial key positions, you can't deliver the results you want to bring, and that is okay. But that is my truth. And others can have a different truth. But I can't put energy in that. After the press conference finished, the chatter among journalists was about Ten Hag's claim he'd only been able to pick his strongest team once in 18 months. The Dutchman referenced United's win over City at the start of 2023, but appeared to have forgotten his strongest squad was available in recent wins over Wolves and West Ham. Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, and Casemiro, who have all struggled with injuries this season, featured in those two games, and United claimed 6 points. Also, it didn't make sense to reference last season's win against City because Tyrell Malaysia started that game and Diogo Dalot was absent from the squad. Ten Hag continued, I don't put energy into this, if I'm judged fairly or not. I know what we are doing here, why I'm here, to bring trophies, to also create economic value. So we are working on those, and in a process you have setbacks. I look at this and can see it realistically, so I see the nuance. Some comments miss that. But I can't be bothered about it, can't go into emotions. I see it realistic, rational, and I'm only focusing on my team, to improve the team and individuals. That's why I'm here. This weekend's FA Cup semi-final against Coventry was on the agenda, and Mark Robins, who saved Sir Alex Ferguson from the sack, manages the Sky Blues. Yes, I know, Ten Hag said about Robins' famous goal against Crystal Palace in January 1990. In football, it's sometimes like this, that a shot on the post or in the net makes a huge difference. C66A, England winning the World Cup. Only one time, but it made them world champions. Ten Hag's response about England winning the World Cup once was playful, but his tone was serious when he was asked about his relationship with Louis van Gaal. Van Gaal led United to FA Cup glory in 2016 before he was relieved of his duties, and he recently revealed he was facing a battle with prostate cancer. Ten Hag said, I have a very good relationship with Louis, but the last time we didn't talk about United. But yeah, everywhere Louis was, he had success and won trophies. I knew it was against Crystal Palace, so I was aware, but if I watched it then, I don't think so. But I'm fully aware he was the last manager to win the FA Cup for Manchester United. Van Gaal was sacked after lifting the FA Cup, and it might not be enough to save Ten Hag. Ten Hag conceded analysis of performances must be pragmatic due to the number of players unavailable, but refused to give excuses for the disappointing results outright. However, the injury crisis has not relented, and results have continued to be hit and miss, which has led to a gradual, yet noticeable, change in the manager's stance. United are 13 points adrift of the Champions League qualification places, and potentially winning the FA Cup is the only glimmer of light remaining this season. There is no doubt about it, Ten Hag is fighting for his future at Old Trafford, and many believe performances since Sir Jim Ratcliffe's acquisition of a minority stake haven't been good enough to persuade the British billionaire that he's the right manager for next season. Although the unfortunate hand Ten Hag has been dealt with injuries must be considered when deciding on his future, the bottom line is United should be playing better. It's fascinating Ten Hag has gone from